Ever find yourself kind of wishing, if only I had more confidence, you know?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to unpack some seriously cool tools to help you, totally shift how you see yourself.
Definitely.
So you can unlock that next level we you.
Yeah.
We're diving deep into this fascinating podcast episode all about self-perception.
Okay.
And get this, it's not just about feeling good, which is awesome in itself.
Right.
But it goes way deeper than that. It's about understanding how your mind sees the world.
Yeah.
And then how that shapes everything you do.
Absolutely. I love how they put it.
Yeah.
It's like your self-perception is the lens you're looking through for your whole life.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And it colors everything, right? Like it impacts your decisions, your relationships, even how you deal with challenges.
Totally. So how do we even begin to clean that lens,
Wow.
especially if it's been, kind of foggy for a while?
Well, a good place to start is understanding this thing called a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Okay, I've definitely heard of that, but...
You probably have.
Yeah.
But here's what's wild. Our brains are literally wired to look for stuff that proves what we already believe.
Wait, you mean if I keep telling myself I'm no good at public speaking,
Yeah.
my brain's gonna be like, see, she is terrible, told ya, even if it's not true.
Exactly. Each time you avoid speaking up at that meeting because you're nervous,
Yeah.
you're basically proving yourself right. But here's the cool part. Knowing this means you get to choose what you feed your mind.
That's so interesting. So instead of obsessing over every little negative thought,
Right.
you can be like, nope, I'm choosing to focus on something that makes me feel strong.
Exactly. They used a really good example in the episode, by the way. Imagine someone who's always telling themselves, I'm not worthy of love.
Ouch. Yeah.
Right. So they might start sabotaging their relationships without even realizing it.
Wow.
Or they're too scared to even put themselves out there. They're creating the exact thing they're afraid of just by the way they think about themselves.
That is so powerful and kind of scary, right? We really do have that much influence over our own reality.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the good news is once you see it, you can start to change it. And it often starts with noticing that little voice in your head, the one that loves to play what if with every bad thing that could possibly happen.
Oh my gosh, my inner critic. That voice is very good at its job. It should win an award for most likely to turn a molehill into a mountain. But seriously, how do we turn down the volume on that?
It's all about hitting the pause button. Instead of letting those thoughts run wild, question them. Imagine that voice says, you're not qualified for that job. Ask yourself, hold on, is that really true?
You start to realize it's just fear talking.
Most of the time, when you dig a little, those thoughts, they're rooted in old stuff. Past experiences, insecurities, not actual facts about who you are in that way.
It's those thoughts need to be put on trial, cross-examined.
Yes.
So if that voice is all, you're not smart enough for that promotion, ask it. Would you say that to a friend? Where's your proof?
Love it.
Ah.
You're starting to challenge those patterns that might not even be true anymore.
Okay, so we're fact-checking our negative thoughts, right? And then we can start replacing them with more positive, powerful ones.
You got it. That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
The episode actually calls it shifting the narrative.
Shifting the narrative. Okay, I kind of get it, but it's we're actually rewriting the stories we tell about ourselves.
Yeah.
So I've heard of using positive affirmations, but honestly, they always felt kind of cheesy to me. Is that stuff really legit?
Yeah, no, it's not about chanting empty phrases in the mirror or anything.
Aye, good.
It's more about, think of it this way. Your brain's like a muscle. The more you work it out in a specific way, the stronger those pathways get.
Yeah.
So when you make an effort to replace those negative thoughts with positive ones, you're literally rewiring your brain for more self-belief.
Interesting. But how does that actually work?
Right.
Am I supposed to walk around telling myself I'm amazing, even if it doesn't feel true yet?
It's not about faking it. It's about being intentional about the thoughts you choose to feed, right? And the podcast episode really stressed that consistency is key.
Okay.
It's like any new habit. You want to build those muscles, right?
Right.
So small steps over time lead to the biggest changes.
So what are some of the small steps? If someone's listening and they're like, all right, I'm ready to try this thing, what can they do?
Well, they gave a few really practical things. Daily affirmations are a great place to start.
Okay.
Write down a few positive statements about yourself, maybe your abilities or even qualities you want to have, and read them out loud daily, preferably in the morning. Sets the tone for your day.
Interesting. And just hearing that repetition helps it sink in?
Exactly. And don't underestimate visualization.
Oh, yeah. Picturing yourself giving that big presentation.
Yeah.
Or like totally rocking that job interview.
Your brain is so powerful, it can't tell the difference between a super vivid visualization and it actually happening.
Oh, way.
So if you regularly picture yourself as that confident, capable person you want to be, you're kind of giving your brain a head start.
That's crazy. So cool. It's like mental rehearsal for success.
Exactly. And journaling, too.
Oh, right.
People forget about that.
Yeah. But it can be so helpful for processing all those thoughts and feelings.
It's true. It's like a direct line to your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
So getting those thoughts and feelings down on paper, it helps you figure out which beliefs are holding you back.
Yeah.
And then you can start to shift them.
So we're tackling that negative self-talk, replacing it with more positive stuff, and visualizing ourselves as our best selves.
Yep.
Okay, that's a lot of inner work.
It is?
But what about like the outside world?
Yeah.
How much does our environment and the people we're around impact how we see ourselves?
Yes, such a good question.
Yeah.
And they actually get into that in the episode, too.
Okay, cool.
It's all about your circle.
Yeah.
Your people,
Mm-hmm.
they can lift you up or they can drag you down.
Oh, 100%.
Right.
You ever notice that thing where you hang out with someone and afterward you're just like completely drained?
Oh, yeah.
Or the opposite, where you're like, wow, I feel energized and inspired.
Exactly. They called it energy contagion.
Yeah.
It's like their vibe rubs off on you, whether it's good or bad.
That's a good way to put it.
And it makes sense when you think about it. If you're always surrounded by people who doubt you, or criticize you, or just have a negative energy, it's going to be so much harder to see yourself positively.
Totally. It's like they're constantly chipping away at your confidence without even realizing it.
Yeah.
So how do we deal with that?
Right.
Like, we can't just cut off everyone who's a little bit negative, can we?
Of course not. But being mindful of your circle,
Yeah.
that's huge.
Right.
Surround yourself with people who believe in you,
Yeah.
people who celebrate your wins instead of minimizing them.
It's about building that support system, right?
Exactly. And sometimes that might mean creating some distance with people who bring you down, even if it's tough, even if it's family.
Boundaries. So important for protecting your energy and self-worth. Okay, so we're shifting that internal dialogue, curating our environment a little better. It feels like there's one piece missing, though.
You're right. We've been talking a lot about changing our thoughts, our beliefs, but true transformation, that requires action.
It's like actions speak louder than words, but like applied to how we see ourselves.
Totally. And the episode makes a really good point about this. You can do all the mindset work in the world, which is super important, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's only half the battle, right? If you really want to live that confident life you're picturing, you got to act like it too.
So it's not just about thinking differently, but actually acting differently.
Exactly. Every time you push past that comfort zone and you take a chance on yourself, it's like you're casting a vote for that new you.
I like that, because you're gathering evidence to prove those new beliefs, right?
Yes. And then that evidence gives you momentum. So let's say you've been wanting that promotion, but the fear's been holding you back.
The worst?
So this time, you visualize yourself totally rocking the interview. You practice your answers.
Yeah.
You go for it.
Okay.
Even if you don't get it. This time you took action. And that reinforces this belief in yourself.
It's like, hey, I did that. Maybe I do have what it takes after all.
Exactly. And that little boost in confidence, that fuels more action.
Yeah.
Creates this awesome upward spiral.
Love it. This has been such a great deep dive. We've given everyone listening a ton to think about. And more importantly, actual steps they can take to start shifting how they see themselves.
Absolutely. And remember, it's a process, not a one-time thing.
Right.
There'll be bumps along the way. But the key is to keep practicing. Keep choosing those positive thoughts and actions.
Yeah.
And surround yourself with your people.
The ones who get it.
The ones who cheer you on.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? They focused on like individual transformation. But what if we applied this to how we see everyone E less E?
Ooh, that's a really cool thought. What if we all made an effort to see the best in each other?
Right.
Instead of jumping to judgments.
Support instead of criticism.
Yeah.
Man,
That'd be amazing.
it would.
If changing how we see ourselves is this powerful, imagine changing how we see the world.
Now that is something worth thinking about.
Right. On that note, we'll let everyone ponder that one. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Here's to seeing ourselves and each other in a whole new light.
Cheers to that.